Going on, man?
How you doing?
Doing good. We turn on this Vitality Jam.
Was that your walk-up song?
No. I think Chris wrote that himself.
He should keep his day job.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's all right. I couldn't do that.
No, neither could I. Doesn't mean it's good because you can't do it.
That's true.
No, it's fine.
That's
What's going
true.
on with you? A
Not too much, man. Been super busy.
little crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
How's the team doing?
all right, we've lost 2 in a row, so we're back to 500. But we got most of our guys rolling in, and pitching's been very good so far. So yeah, we're moving right along.
Nice, dude.
Pitching
Yeah.
and defense, right? Wins.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Except for the Red Sox pitching and stolen bases because they don't have any
So
defense.
it's been unbelievable, right?
I mean, what do we can't shit on them right now.
The shitting has to stop.
Yeah, I mean they have a winning record. They're still not in the playoffs, but I mean they just took down.
The shitting has to stop, and I'm going to stop it because, well, listen, Alex Cora is the manager of the year if the season ended today.
Yo, stock way up on Alex Cora. Stock way up. He's having a great season, and it's kind of a huge fuck you to the front office.
It's huge. You're right. It is a massive.
Right? Yeah, because I mean they put it on him like, hey, this team's underachieving. This awesome roster that we put on the field is underachieving, and he's going, all right, fuck you. We're gonna beat the Phillies. We're gonna beat the Yankees, and we're gonna have fun doing it too. Because those games were fun to watch this week.
Well, they are fun to watch because they're being athletic.
Yeah.
You know, and I will tell you this, and I was going to call you before tonight and just give you my opinion on the Yankees. And I hope you're listening, Chris. The Yankees are the most overrated team in the 21st century.
Yes and no. I mean, I don't know that anyone thinks of them as like world beaters.
Well, I mean, they have the best record in baseball, right? Going into the weekend, I don't know if they still do. And my take on them being overrated, even though they have a great record, isn't based so much on what they've done against the Red Sox this weekend, but I watched them play, and if you can pitch around Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, the rest of the lineup is blah.
Yeah. Blah. Yeah, I mean, they get Volpe and Verdugo.
Well, Volpe's good, but, Volpe's not a world beater. He's 22 years old.
Yep, exactly. And neither is, and we know what Verdugo is. He is, he's hot and cold. The outfield, it seems like if you can get a fly ball to the outfield against the Yankees, it's going to fall somewhere.
Well, you got Judge in center field who's not a center fielder.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, but their pitching staff has been fantastic all year. I mean, they've got the best ERA in baseball, bullpen and rotation.
If I am any team in the American League going into the postseason, even with Garrett Cole supposedly making a return this coming week, right?
Yep.
That bullpen. I mean, that starting pitching does not scare me at all.
No, I don't think they're like instilling fear in anyone for sure. I just think that they're the deepest roster outside of Baltimore in the American League.
So you see, that's my point. Other than Judge and
the American League sucks.
Soto, I don't think they're very deep at all.
No, but look around the rest of the American League. I mean, I guess the Rangers, technically, if they were all healthy. But I mean,
you're speaking just to the American League.
Yeah, just the American League. I mean, we're talking about going to the World Series, I suppose, right? So. Yeah. So who's beating the Yankees? It's either Baltimore or a healthy Texas Rangers.
Yeah, and I think the Rangers are when they get healthy, they will produce wins.
Yeah, and the Red Sox, they're a fun story right now. But like, let's say they did make the playoffs, and they had to face the Yankees in the playoffs in Yankee Stadium. Or all these like young kids, are they oblivious to the pressure and the bright lights? I don't know about that. They're not. I mean, it was really fun to watch. It was really fun to watch 9 stolen bases because that's what they should be doing.
Yeah, don't confuse my opinion of the Yankees with the Red Sox being a playoff team, because the Red Sox are the furthest thing from a playoff team. They don't have a lot
Yeah.
of pitching, and their defense is the worst in baseball. I don't
So
think you see them as a playoff contender.
so
Yeah,
at what
now if they
point do
go
we
make a move
stop?
or two, like we're going to talk about, then that's different.
So at what point do we stop saying that they don't have enough pitching though? Because their rotation is the second best ERA in baseball,
Right, but it
and
was the first best for a
for a
while. Like
while.
Bello is non-existent for me.
No, Bello's the weak link right now. I mean, Criswell's been great. And Crawford went through a little cold streak, but he seems to be back on out his last 2 starts. Houck's in the Cy Young conversation in the American League right now.
He certainly is. Well, I mean, if he gets hurt or goes down or comes back to earth a little bit, I think you'll see a massive decline in the Red Sox, because the bullpen's being used a lot still, and it's going to continue to get used, and it's only going to get worse if a guy like Houck goes down or doesn't go 7 innings every night.
Yeah, they're using the bullpen kind of wisely right now though too. They've got the 2 mop-up guys that are eating innings that you don't really care how long they throw. But you've got 5 guys, right? You've got Kelly, Slayton, Weiser, Bernardino, and even Jansen that have been throwing really, really well. And they're, if they're called on to close out a game, they're closing out the game. If they're called on to set up, they set it up. They're doing really. I can't shit on them.
Well, the problem is, not the problem. I mean, we were expecting the Blue Jays to be better, and actually, to be honest with you, the Tampa Bay Rays to be better.
The Rays are the ones I thought could fall off just because they finally they've sold off everything that they had. I mean, once Glasnow's gone, Snell went the year before, and McClanahan's hurt. So they had 3 aces essentially in the last 2 years go away. Right. That is the end of it. And who's the other one that went to the Dodgers? Yarbrough went out to the Dodgers, and was it David Robinson was there for a little bit. They just lost like all of their pitching, and it's because they thought that they could continue to get lucky and develop these studs. And there's probably just like kind of a gap in their development here for a little bit. I still trust that organization fully to bounce back.
Right.
They're having a bad year, and it just finally caught up to them a little bit.
Well, losing Franco, I mean, who they had the world,
Franco might have been the best player in baseball by the time he was 25.
The world built around. So,
yeah.
And, I don't even know the guy, what's his name? I forget what his name is, playing short now for them. It's just, he's probably a decent player, but he's just
Is Walls playing shortstop for them right now?
He's just not Wander Franco. He's not Wander Franco.
No, he's not. He's not. And Rosarena hasn't been a Rosarena.
Rosarena, is he still batting under 200?
I think he's starting to warm up a little bit. I haven't been paying too much attention. Honestly, I've been so busy that like I haven't watched as much baseball as I want. And when I do have time to watch baseball, I'm watching the College Baseball World Series. And I don't know why I'm watching it, because it's fucking terrible. I sit there and just get angry the whole time. I couldn't be any angrier. It's just home run after home run after home run after wild pitch after wild pitch. And I don't know why I do it to myself, but I've been watching college baseball.
The World Series has started, Friday. It's been better than the regionals and the super regionals for sure. But they're playing in that giant park that where the ball's just. I mean, nobody's. It's just huge, and other than the Caglione kid, who makes every park look small, it's been a little, it's more small ball. It's been like old school baseball a little bit, but yeah. So we're all busy, and you're right. I haven't checked box scores like I normally do.
No, I haven't had time.
And so my guess is that I'm watching Red Sox. And I'm watching the Red Sox in 2. I found myself watching last night the post game Red Sox 2 nights ago and two, and just they're playing good ball. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing anybody can do about it. Especially the Yankees, they're playing good baseball, and my MVP of the team is
he's
the catalyst.
He's playing fantastic baseball, and the only thing I can say about him right now is that he still can't run the bases, but he's hitting the ball. He's up there, and like every defensive metric you could ask for, he's up there in the top, 99 percentile, whatever, or top 1%, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
He's starting the fire for sure, and he's a menace on the base paths. He's super fast. He still runs into stupid outs like he did. He ran into a stupid one yesterday.
Yeah.
No outs, tried to score on a shallow, testing Soto's arm, whatever. That was stupid. He's gonna do shit like that because he doesn't have a high baseball IQ. But
yeah, but that's I would say put that on the third base coach. I mean, he could easily say, "Yo, stay here, no outs."
Yeah, that was kind of a failure on the broadcast part because they didn't go back and show like was the third base coach putting up the stop sign or waving him or whatever. They didn't go back and check that. So I don't know what was going on there, but it was a mistake. And he's going to do that. So stock way up on him, stock up on Devers. He's hitting the shit out of the ball. Stock up on Connor Wong. I mean, he's batting like clean up in fifth and third sometimes, and like he's doing it. He's hitting doubles and triples, and he's stealing bases, and he's not the defensive catcher that he was supposed to be. But he's
an offensive catcher.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's an offensive catcher instead of a defensive catcher. It's crazy. And stock way up on Rafael. The last time we did a podcast, which was 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, he was betting under 200. He's all the way up to 239 now. So he's been on fire.
Yeah.
And it might have something to do with the fact that he's settled into center field. They're not bouncing him back and forth with it's a shortstop and center field, shortstop. I mean, he's done a little bit of it, but for the most part, he's the center fielder. And I think that's good for his psyche and his confidence because he's really, really, really elite out there. So stock way up on him, stock way up on Hamilton, who has started hitting the ball. He's not like the other guys, but he's also started playing pretty decent defense at shortstop too. It's like he's getting his confidence going. Stock up Ref Schneider. He's been a leader. He's been hitting the ball when he's in the lineup. He's been doing his job. The only like kind of like bullet down, whatever down stock or stocks down is Dominic Smith sucks, and the Valdez kid still stinks.
Yeah,
and Oh, and of course my boy Bobby Dahlbeck. If they didn't have 3 automatic outs in the lineup most nights, I mean, they could really be doing something here, but they've got 3 automatic outs in the lineup still.
Right.
Which, it's time now. It's time to make a move. And it's not first base because apparently Cassis is closer than you and I thought he would be at this point. They're saying now the first week of July, which I'm not sure.
That's 2 weeks from today.
Yeah. So I'm not sure I buy that. But the move isn't first base. The move is probably a second baseman and a right-handed home run hitter, like a Soler, Duvall type guy that can come in and DH because Yoshida still stinks.
Only playing like basically against righties now. You could use a left-handed version of Yoshida, I guess. A right-handed version of Yoshida.
Yeah. So that's what they should be going after right now. And honestly, like if they want to make a run, I mean, they're so close. A starting pitcher.
Well, they need at least one a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Who's going to give up that? I mean, that's the massive. That's like having Bitcoin right now. Is who's going to give up their Bitcoin? Who's going to give up their starting pitchers? And they're not looking for a number 5 or number 4. They're looking for a guy.
Yeah, just a guy that bumps probably, I guess, Criswell back to the bullpen. or a guy that you have in case someone gets hurt. Because they're, to expect Pivetta, Crawford, Houck, Criswell, and Bello all to stay healthy the rest of the season is, that's very wishful thinking. So a starting pitcher is definitely on the wish list, come trade deadline or hopefully before the trade deadline. And adding Criswell to that bullpen, that's a big boost to the bullpen. So that would be great. I don't know where you're getting it right now because there's not that many teams that are completely out of it. But I'd sniff around the New York Mets
for sure,
and I'd sniff around the Cardinals probably. Where are they right now?
They're second or third. They're only they're under 500 still, I believe, but they're only 5 or 6 out, right?
Yeah, I got it right here. They're 500. So the Cardinals probably aren't selling. The Pirates aren't. I mean, they're under 500, but they're not selling because they don't have anything to sell except for young pieces that they're not going to part ways with. The Cubs probably aren't sellers yet. The Marlins, you want to look at maybe Luzardo or something, which we talked about all fucking winter and it never happened.
It's going to cost you a fortune, though. They're not going to do that.
Why? I mean, why is he costing you a fortune right now?
Well, just because he's not having a good year doesn't mean he's controllable. He's going to cost. He would cost. Why would they give him up then?
Because he's been hurt a lot, and he's he's not having a great year. He
hasn't had a great career.
No,
at Miami. So
no, he's got a 5 ERA, a 1.25 WHIP. He's 3-6, 58 strikeouts. He is 26.
Is he that old? Well,
26. He'll be 27 in September.
Yeah.
So
it may be him, but does he really move the needle for you?
Yeah, he does.
He does?
I mean, he pushes Criswell to the bullpen. He's better than Criswell.
Okay, I think he's just similar. I just think he's similar. He's not a guy. He's not a.
I mean, I don't think they're going to go out and get a number 2 or number 3 guy. So I don't think that guy exists right now to go get.
So I wouldn't trade anybody then. I'm stockpiling my prospects until I'm going to make a big trade. Go make a 4-guy trade or make an 8-player trade. Trade 4 guys for 4 guys and 4 prospects for 4 big leaguers and go get it.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't
wouldn't
know who the trade partner is, but
I wouldn't touch the big 3. But you've got Blaze Jordan, Nick York. You could trade for sure because they've got no path to the Red Sox at all.
Correct.
Quite honestly, I hate to say it, but you've got Vaughn Grissom, who's still got some value, and maybe you move on from him if you can get a second baseman with Meyer coming and Story coming.
So let me ask you this: speaking of Vaughn Grissom, so Danny Ainge used to be the guy nobody would trade with, right?
Yeah, and that's the Rays now.
That's the Rays, right? Is it also the Braves?
Yeah, I wouldn't trade with the Braves.
Right? So if you trade with the Braves, you've got to assume you're getting fleeced.
Yeah, pretty much.
Every move they make is turned into gold, right?
Yep. Yeah, the Olsen trade, they fleeced the A's, and they fleeced the A's again in the Murphy trade. I don't know how the A's fell for it twice. They got nothing out of those. They got basically Langoliers, who's an okay catcher.
They fleeced the Red Sox.
They fleeced the Red Sox. It's starting to look like. I'll admit that now. They fleeced the Royals out of. I mean, they dumped a bunch of prospects on the Royals that sucked and got back. It was a pitcher that they got back that's in the system now. I can't remember who it is, but like they fleece everybody. They know when a prospect reaches peak value. and they move on. And like they had that was it Cruz that they had in the outfield? He was like their top prospect. Him and Pache were the two top outfield prospects, and they just traded them both away because they knew like these guys are not going to do it, and neither one's done anything. They got Kelenic for nothing. They absorbed a couple contracts to get Kelenic. And he's been pretty good. He's hurt now again, but yeah, they win every trade. God bless them.
Every trade. So like, who the hell wants to trade with them?
No.
Right.
So
if if they, you can't. What's the GM's name? Adathopoulos.
Yeah, Alex Adathopoulos.
Okay, so you can't like erase his number from your phone because he'll call you from you're going to answer when he calls, but you can't answer the phone when he picks up. When he calls you, just don't pick up.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't trade with. Obviously, they're not going to trade with them. I got a sneaky suspicion that he may cost more money now because Mookie got hurt. I think Bichette is going to get moved.
I think he will too. Speaking of which, they got Kevin Biggio.
The Dodgers did.
They got him for nothing.
Yeah, the DFA. He's 28 or 29, and he hasn't panned out. Now, again, the Dodgers are the other ones that they grab guys as reclamation projects. They draft. I mean, they trade for guys in the minor leagues, in the big league, and they trade for guys in the big leagues who aren't playing up to what their expectations were when they either got drafted, when they got traded, or when they signed their big contracts, and then they turn them around. They have a history of doing that. So, you don't want to trade with the Dodgers either. So, but then again, I'm not sure that the Blue Jays are going to trade inter-division with the Red Sox and give them.
I mean, they DFA'd the kid. I mean,
Well, no, I'm talking about.
Bichette. No. They're not getting Bichette. But I felt like they should have taken a shot at Biggio. It kind of fills a need. Plus, he's versatile. He can play infield and outfield.
We got enough versatile guys, though. We need a guy that can play every day.
Yeah, there's just not that many out there because there's just not that many sellers out there right now. I mean,
tell you, Jimmy, honest to God, up and down the box scores and the standings, there's not a lot of there's superstars, and then it goes right to the bottom.
Yep. But there's not that many teams that like are out of the playoffs. I mean, it's the Marlins and the Rockies in the National League. They're the only ones that don't have a shot at the playoffs. And in the American League, it's just the White Sox and the A's. That's it. Oh, and the Angels. So, I mean, the Astros aren't going to give up, even though they're 6 games under 500. They're not going to quit. They have too much talent to quit.
Well, let me throw a hypothetical at you.
Sure.
Well, let me ask you, what would it take to get Mike Trout?
One of the big three.
Less, or he'll probably take all three of them, right? I don't care that Trout's hurt.
No, I mean, I wouldn't give up Meyer for Trout at this point. I don't think, just because you just don't know what you're going to get back. But I would trade Teal and Anthony for him
all day. Yeah,
right. You have to. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and he's got 4 or 5 years left in his deal, 6 years left in his deal, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, and they probably eat some money too.
They probably eat some money.
If you gave them 2 of the top 3 prospects, they'd eat some money. You get Trout back. You put him in left field where he doesn't have to cover as much ground.
Exactly.
And then you put Duran in right and Rafael in center and Abreu's your DH, and there you go. And Trout DH is some too.
Yeah.
That's your outfield for the next 4 or 5 years.
Not bad.
No. I mean, I do it in a heartbeat. I know a lot of fans would freak out because Anthony is the next, Yaz, and Kyle Teal's the next Veritek or whatever.
Anybody that would argue with that trade, it would probably cost more too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, you need to throw in an arm. They don't have many arms though. That's the problem. Is they don't have the capital.
Would cut a Crawford if they wanted.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Cutter Crawford doesn't.
You and I are on the same page. I would trade for big league proven talent all day long. I won't trade Meyer unless I'm bowled over, because he's the real deal, Holyfield.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's 10 players in baseball that I trade Meyer for. Right?
There probably is, but no one's ever going to trade for him. Like,
No.
like I'd trade. Yeah, probably right. Like, the Gunnar Hendersons and the Rutschmans, Adley Rutschmans, and there's guys you would, but
yeah.
Your point's well taken. There's probably not. You're right.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I mean, the needle's up on the Red Sox. They got to do a couple little things. It's not going to take much.
How far along away is Trout from being back to playing again, do you think?
Didn't they say August?
I don't know.
I think they said August.
Jim, I'm watching baseball game up here while I'm talking to you.
The Red Sox.
There's nothing worse than a leadoff first pitch. You just come into the game to start an inning out of the bullpen, and you hit the guy with the first pitch of the inning.
That sucks. What game's that?
The Navigators. But there's just nothing too good happens when you hit the leadoff guy in your first pitch of the inning coming out of the bullpen.
I hit the leadoff guy in the first pitch of the game yesterday.
Yeah, but you probably had a real reason.
No, it was a strike. His fucking knee was like over the plate. I swear to God.
So you pitched?
Yeah, dude, I threw like 150 pitches yesterday.
Did you catch too?
Yeah, I caught later for the younger team. I pitched for the older team.
Listen to me. You're gonna end up in a fucking wheelchair.
I feel like I got hit by a truck.
Can you wipe your ass today? Can you really wipe your ass?
No, I cannot wipe my ass today. I'm like literally praying I don't have to take a shit before the day's over, because I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to like call for help. Be like my 3-year-olds. Dada, come wipe my ass.
So I'll tell you a quick story with baseball. It's a baseball story. My first year in my travel program, my dad wanted to come. My dad was, I don't know, 63 or 64. He just retired, and he wanted to and come spend some time watching some of my guys. So I took him on a trip to New Jersey with me. Had to get an extra hotel room, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, we got like 3 days of rain, so we found an indoor facility to go throw BP, and let the kids hit in. And I was worn out, tired, worn out. No, I couldn't throw another pitch. My dad, who was a former, AAA catcher, you guys all throw great BP. He says, get the hell out of the way. I'll throw BP. And the kids lined up to hit off him for a week. He was throwing BP so good. 63 or 64 years old. Long story short, the next morning we're in a hotel. And he says to me, I said, Dad, I'm going to go out to the car, wait for you in the car. Get the car. I'm going to pull the car up, to the front door of the hotel. He goes, don't you go anywhere. He says he couldn't lift his arm. He was, honestly, when he couldn't even put his fucking pants, his shorts on, and couldn't tighten his belt. It was just, it was so funny. He cursed me for the next 3 days. 64 years old, 265 pitches of BP. And then we got shut out that game, and he's cursing me. But
that's great.
It's so funny. It's well, as you get older, bro, you gotta pick your battles, right? Obviously, you picked your battles, and you won yesterday. You lost today. You won the battle.
I'm gonna take an ice bath later. I really need to. When I got up this morning, I couldn't put my shorts on, and I make breakfast every morning. I make every meal. And the girls are already up because I couldn't get out of bed, and I go out and they're like at the table waiting for breakfast. I'm like, guys, I couldn't lift up a pan right now if I had to. Like, I Dunkin' Donuts app. I order some breakfast sandwiches, and I'll go to Dunkin's, guys, because I can't cook this morning.
Yeah, right.
So,
wow.
But yeah.
So how are the Red Sox doing right now?
They're up 2-0. Devers and O'Neill home runs.
So there's the wild card is O'Neill, right?
He's good.
He's good, but let me, does he bring you back something if you get rid of him?
Yeah, if a contender needs a DH or a corner outfielder, yeah.
Could the
Absolutely.
Could the Red Sox win without him?
Yeah, absolutely, they could.
As well, I mean, you could trade him, right? Obviously, if you got a guy like Trout, he's expendable.
Yeah, of course. If you get a Trout or if you get that DH I was talking about, then O'Neill's expendable, especially if Duran keeps hitting and Abreu comes back and he's healthy and Ref Snyder keeps doing what he's doing. I mean, Trout's definitely expendable at this point. So you should shop him. I mean, I think Philly could use an outfielder. I know the Braves could use an outfielder, although we just said don't trade with the Braves.
So let me throw this hypothetical out at you. My dad sent me a text last night. He said, when's your next podcast? And I said, actually, we're doing one, tomorrow night. And he said, I got a trade for you. And he said, I'll text it to you. So he texted to me, and I'm like, well, who do you trade for them? Who the Red Sox going to give up? And he goes, that's for you and Jimmy to figure out. Right? So here's the trade. Well, here's the guy he wants. He wants Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't?
Well, I think my dad says he's gettable.
He is gettable because the Padres need to shed payroll because they got fucked by the TV deal. So they don't have the money.
Traded Duran for him?
Yeah, I trade anything on the active roster for him. Except I guess Devers, maybe. Yeah. Well, I mean, what is he, 26 years old?
Would you give him? No, he's less.
Is he? Yeah. I'd give up whatever they wanted.
Rafaela?
Yep.
That's the move.
Yeah. Whatever they want, honestly. Open up the books. Just not Meyer. That's about it. Meyer and Devers. So maybe you want to keep Houck because you're excited about what he's offering this year and the control that he has. But yeah, if you can get Tatis, but you could also, I mean, realistically, that's probably not going to happen. But if you want to look at the Braves, who really need a corner outfielder, they've got like 4 or 5 arms that are like pushing on the door for major leagues. They got the AJSS kid, and they got Schwellenbach, and they've got the Vines kid, who I don't love. They've got, there's one other one too that I'm drawing a blank on. They got Bryce Elder that's down in AAA right now, who had a great year last year but couldn't figure it out this year. So I mean, if you can trade O'Neill and Jansen back to the Braves, that's a perfect fit for them. And bring back and Jansen
to the Braves, and what are you going to get back?
One of those arms. And maybe another minor leaguer somewhere.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
okay. Yeah. But Tatis Jr. is 25.
Oh my God. That'd be fantastic. So, and he can play anywhere in the field too. I mean, they're babying him in the outfield. He's a fantastic outfielder, but I mean, he's a shortstop. He can play first base. He can play second base.
So that my assuming you have to give up Rafaela for him, you put Duran in center, you put
Tatis in right,
or you go for the short term. You go Tatis in short, Hamilton in second.
For the short term, yeah.
For the rest of the year, right?
Why not?
Or you just say, we traded. You're an outfielder. You've been outfielder for 2 years. We traded you as an outfielder. Go play center field for the next 10 years, Fenway, and kill it. He got a swing made for Fenway Park.
He's got a swing made for anywhere. I mean, he's one of the best players in baseball. And he's fast. He's electric in the field. He's a 5-tool player. And there's not many of those left.
Yeah. No, he's legit a 5-tool player. He's only 25. He does have a 14-year, $340 million deal that is going to, maybe you don't have to give up Cedeno Rafaela to get him.
Yeah, maybe you don't have to, but I mean, come on, Rafaela. I love the kid. He's doing great, but he's not going to be better than a 240 hitter.
And well, Tatis is a Gold Glover in center field.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. No, I love that. Imagine if you could get him and Trout.
Well, yeah, you got to, the problem is, right, these guys are shedding payroll, and that jerk, John Henry, who's worth about $8 billion, $9 billion, says we don't really sell assets when someone asks him about selling the team because, and so, I don't think, he's interested in adding payroll at all.
I don't think he is either. Yeah, this is all kind of a pipe dream, but, if you could get his ear and say, hey, listen, we're close, and we think we can make a run in the next 2 years because the American League's weak. I mean, there's money to be made by winning.
I guess my point to you is the American League could be had this year. I really believe that.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I make some moves. Go get it. Fill Fenway in September. You'll be happy. You'll get a nice return, and worry about the bottom line next year.
Yeah, it was nice to see the ballpark full this weekend.
Yeah, it was full of Yankees fans.
Yeah,
it was full of Yankees fans.
It was loud. It was fun. Let me ask you this. Back to just the series in the Red Sox Yankees. Jose Trevino. At what point do you decide, like, hey, I've allowed 5 straight steals. I'm going to get off my knee here and maybe try to control this running game a little bit?
So I should have forwarded that article I read this morning about the advanced scouting the Red Sox did on the Yankees last weekend.
Yeah, they were stealing on the pitchers, for sure.
I'll find it and send it to you. It's a good read. They are stealing on the pitchers, as you know.
Yeah.
The pitchers are holding nobody on for the Yankees.
And they're not changing up the timing.
And so they're not even changing timing. They're not looking. They're not stepping off. They're not doing anything except try to get out so that Judge and Soto can get back to the plate. That's all they care about. And that's what this article talked about. And they said that the advanced scouting noticed some major flaws in the Yankees defense, and it started with pitchers holding guys on.
Yeah, the staff is terrible, but Trevino is terrible too. All of a sudden he's got a noodle for a fucking arm, and he's staying down on one knee and making his throws from a knee. And I don't know how you expect to throw anyone out. I mean, if Hamilton, Duran, Wong get on base, Rafaela get on base, they're on second, they're on third, and there's nothing that they could do to stop it. And they didn't try. If I'm the catcher, I call timeout and I go to the mound. I go, hey, pay fucking attention. You got to hold this fucking guy. I can't do this by myself.
The problem is the nerds don't care about them holding them on.
It's fucking
because
crazy.
They feel, and they mentioned this in the article, they feel that the art of holding runners on impedes their ability to throw pitches with intent.
Give me a fucking break.
Like all of a sudden, runners are on base for the first time in the history of baseball. There's been 125 years we've been playing baseball. There's always been runners on.
It's one of those things that the pursuit of throwing 100 miles an hour has cost players, pitchers especially, the ability to play the rest of the game.
It's cost baseball, man. It really has. It really has. You look, I mean, and the trickle down effect is, you look at college and high school, and
college is awful. Division I is awful. Those pitchers are terrible. Every game is 15 to 12, and it's all home runs and it's all wild pitches and it's a lot of walks, and it's because they're not holding runners. They're throwing 100. They're not pitching. Right. They can't field the position anymore. It's I don't know. It's really disappointing, and I don't know. At some point, it's gonna police itself, and it'll come back to what we expect it to be. But I don't know what it's going to take. It's going to happen, though. Eventually, catchers will be on 2 feet again. Eventually, pitchers will be looking to throw strikes again. Eventually, batters will be looking to make contact again. It's going to happen.
So you're 100% correct. And you know how they talk about the NFL being a copycat league? It's only going to take a couple teams, and it started happening last year with the Rangers, to kind of go back to the old school mentality a little bit and win and be successful at it. And then, you're going to see teams crumble and throw away the playbook, throw away the nerds, who I've come to love, by the way, the nerds in real life, and go back to eyes and feel and the way the games used to be played, because those teams are starting to win more. Even the Yankees. The Yankees are kind of a little bit of a throwback. They're like the 84, 86, 85, whatever team it was, the Baltimore Orioles, where they Earl Weaver was a bunt, base hit, and a 3-run home run. And that's what the Yankees are doing. And look at it. I mean, they're having a great year. But this is a copycat industry, and it all started 20 years ago with Moneyball, where they all, Oakland A's, Billy Beane got to the playoffs 3 years in a row, didn't spend any money. Now no one's spending any money. They're all doing this, and they're getting, value. It's all about value. Well, value comes to those who win. And now you're starting to see the Rangers did it last year. The Braves even did it a couple years ago.
Yep.
Where
I was going to say the Braves play old school.
They started playing some old school base. Well, Look at the managers. Snitker's running that team, right?
Yes, Snicker. Yeah, sorry, I said Schilt.
Snicker, right?
Yeah, Snicker. Yeah.
And you got Bochy running the Rangers. I hate to say it, but you got Cora running the Red Sox. He's kind of an old school guy.
Yeah.
I mean, when was the last time you saw a major league team steal 9 bases?
It's been a long time. So, I mean, there's a franchise record for the Red Sox.
And yeah, it's probably the most bases stolen in a night by a division in 20 years. And it always in a Red Sox game. So I guess my point is that you're starting to see some change in philosophy a little bit. Clearly, the Red Sox have a different philosophy than they did the last 4 years.
My only worry is that, once Boone and Cora and Bochy and Snedeker and Schilt and who else is left? I mean, Dusty Baker's gone now. Once those guys are gone and like the next generation of managers is coming up, they don't have the feel. They don't have the instincts because they've never had to have it. They've been relying on the iPad their entire career.
Yeah.
So that does kind of worry me that there is going to be no more baseball guys that feel the game.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's a shitload of very good managers in the minor leagues that have been in the minor leagues a long time.
Yeah.
That are probably can come up here. Just like Snedeker. Snedeker was a minor leaguer for a long time, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you right now that the guy in Portland, Chad Epperson, I love him as a coach. He's a former catcher.
Yeah.
And he knows how to manage a team, and I'm sure he relies on analytics because he has to, but he strikes me as one of those guys. Yeah, I'd like to see more former players have more say in what's happening in baseball these days. And I don't think Jeff Fry. I don't think he's going to be a major league manager, but there's got to be more guys with that mentality that are younger that are in the minors somewhere. Maybe it's Veritek. I don't know who else is out there right now. I thought that Brad Ausmus and AJ Hinch would be a couple of those guys, and they kind of haven't had the greatest careers, and they had the cheating scandal and all that. I thought Beltran would be one, and he was part of that cheating scandal. So I don't know what the next generation looks like, but I hope it is in the minors.
Yeah, so there's a lot of. I will tell you, there's a lot of guys that have been in the minors a long time that are dying for a chance to manage at the major league level. So but again, it's going to take a little while longer for this to matriculate down to enough teams where baseball becomes. I'm watching baseball at the big league level, and I feel like I wasted my money on this baseball package. Every game, the fundamentals are out the door. There's no strategy. I don't know. I don't know.
Yep. No, I don't feel like I wasted money on the baseball package. I love watching the Braves. I've been enjoying watching the Royals a bit. They're fun to watch. The Royals. They're doing something special out there, and I do enjoy watching because I always late night. The baseball package is great because it's the West Coast games. I love
was being
watching
a little
the Padres.
facetious, but
Yeah,
you get
I
my
love
point.
the
You can only
Diamondbacks.
watch, yeah.
Diamondbacks. I mean, they're not doing it this year, but last year they were a lot of fun to watch, and I think Lavulo is an excellent manager.
He's an old school guy.
Exactly.
And he takes a little. He's an old school guy that takes a little, from the nerds.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with using analytics to manage a game. Well, it's when it's the end all be all. That's the problem. When the players aren't allowed to think for themselves and the managers can't think for themselves and make their own lineups and make their own changes and feel who, if the front office is telling you who's going to be the relief pitchers that day, that's the problem with analytics. The manager needs to know that stuff.
Correct. And, the manager needs to be given the autonomy to write the lineup out and make the changes and not, the phone rings and it's, the front office in the fourth inning, this is who we want to pitch next. Bruce Bochy's not answering that phone if it rings.
No, Bruce Bochy would rip it off the fucking wall and tell him to go fuck himself.
Same thing with Snedeker, and probably a couple of other guys that have been around a little bit. I just start to see it where some old school, and I would say old school, but a little more.
Self-correct.
Yeah, it's starting to.
It's definitely gonna self-correct. Everything does. The baseball gods will speak.
I want the Red Sox to be one of those teams, and I don't want them to be the last team to do it. I want them to do it now. You got Breslow in there. He's a smart guy, but he's also a former big leaguer. You think that he would be able to recognize the opportunity here that he's got with. I mean, I know they're 15 back of the Red Sox of the Yankees, but they're 2 or 3 out of the wild card. Just get it, as you said, just get in.
If you can just get in, I mean, you saw what the Diamondbacks did last year. And the Rangers didn't win the division last year either, right? They lost it on the last day of the season.
Yeah.
So just get in and things can happen. And like you said, like the NFL, everyone's going to the spread offense and everyone's doing it in a few years. And then Bill Belichick says, fuck you. We're going to run the ball down your throat. And it works. And then all of a sudden everyone's, running backs are the hot commodity. Well, now we're back to running backs have no value at all. And that it goes back and forth. And the first team that says, we're going to fucking play baseball. We're going to bunt. We're going to steal. We're going to play defense. We're going to have a 2-3-4 hitter that get on base and then get driven in. RBIs matter. Average matters. That's going to be the next great dynasty. And
makes sense.
Be ahead of it.
Be ahead of the curve.
Maybe Bill Belichick's available. Let's go get him.
At least he would rip that phone off the wall. You know that.
Yeah, he definitely ripped the phone off the wall.
So I don't know. It's just so to go back to your original question when we started tonight is the Red Sox are proving a lot of people wrong, including you and I.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And I'm glad they are. And honestly, I'm glad they are because, and I don't know how long it's going to last. It still might be over in August. Who knows, right? They're a paper mache team. If they have another injury to anybody worth, if Rafael Devers goes down, it's over. Connor Wong goes down, it's over. If Jared Duran goes down, it's probably over.
Yeah, definitely.
Any of the pitchers go down, it's over. So they can't, sustain an injury. But if they're still in this come August 1st, then you start to think, yeah, maybe there's a reason to watch in September for the first time.
If they're still in it after the trade deadline, I mean, you've got Meyer sitting there, and you've got, Anthony's not ready. But, at that point, then you can start thinking like, hey, we're going for it this year. Who can help us in the minors that we weren't going to bring up too? So you can make a couple moves at the deadline, and you've got something in the system that can help too.
Right.
So if you can make a run, you don't want to, call them up too early if there's no reason to. But
good point.
You got that in your back pocket.
Sometimes the best trade is the trade from the Double-A team to the big leagues, not so much from with the San Diego Padres or the Los Angeles Angels. So
absolutely. So all right, man, let's go watch the Celtics, huh?
So what do you think tonight?
I don't feel great about tonight.
Oh, you don't?
I don't. I I
I
just
feel great. I feel great, but I also have Game 7 tickets.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see Game 7.
Which is not till Sunday, by the way.
Dude, this is crazy. How they're taking 2 days off between every game. How insane is it to not have tonight's game on Father's Day last night after the U.S. Open? What a fucking missed opportunity that is.
Massive missed opportunity. And I'll tell you this, these long breaks helps the team that's getting their ass kicked.
Oh, 100%. So, I mean, it helps us too because, Porzingis might make it back, possibly.
He's got the same injury as Kurt Schilling had, right?
Yeah, I saw that. That's kind of funny. But, Kurt Schilling didn't have to fucking jump up and down. So, so it's a little different for Porzingis. He can't just pour some ketchup on a sock and go out there.
I actually watched the Reds, the ESPN's 30 for 30 on the 4 days in October last night.
That is porn. I can just sit there with no pants on and just watch that and just have so much fun.
So it was on. It came on after the Red Sox game, and I've seen it 7 billion times, and I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, oh my god, what a fucking unbelievable 4 days that was.
Unfucking real. I really enjoyed watching that 04 team come back to Fenway a couple weeks ago, and then the Hall of Fame induction, Trout, Pedroia, and who was the other one that went in at the same time? Was it
Veritek?
No.
Oh, Derek Lowe? Is it Derek Lowe?
No, it wasn't there. Who the fuck was it? Jesus Christ. They just did it. Pedroia, Trot, and
Wakefield.
Right? No, it was Papelbon.
Oh, that's what I meant.
It was Papelbon. Watching them come back and tell the stories, and Millar was around the ballpark telling stories, and Derek Lowe was around the ballpark telling stories, and that going on the air, and it's so great. That was so much fucking fun. The baseball was never better.
No, and so what I took from that 30 for 30 last night, and again, I've seen it 30 times, maybe 35 times.
Oh yeah.
This is what I took from it. I've seen it 100 times, but I didn't realize that he's been vilified for the last 20 years, but Kurt Schilling was a fucking dude.
We don't have that championship without Kurt Schilling.
Right, he's so under. When you watch him talk, post game and in the locker room and
he was in the center of every huddle.
Unbelievable, and listen, I don't know why he's on the Hall of Fame. Well, I mean, I do know why, but there's reasons not to put guys on the Hall of Fame. Him being a dink after the fact isn't one of them. Put that guy in the Hall of Fame. He's literally
well. That's the problem with the Hall of Fame to begin with, is that you're depending on these fucking writers to vote people in, and they have vendettas. And Kurt Schilling was not nice to the writers. So, and the same thing with Jim Rice. Jim Rice didn't get in forever because he was a dick to the writers. Of course, Jim Rice didn't have, calling them Nazis and,
right.
Everything he says, they turned against him. God forbid, he votes Republican or whatever the fuck. So, he's been very wrongly vilified. And I got to tell you too, like out of all the guys I've met from that team, he was the nicest one in person.
Schilling?
Absolutely.
Great guy.
Absolutely the nicest guy. And I sat next to him having dinner one night at a taco place in Beverly. I think his kid was going to Endicott College. And I didn't say anything to him for the whole meal, but we were like elbow to elbow practically. It's like a tiny little place. And at the end, I said, hey, Kurt, how you doing? I just wanted to say hi and say thank you for 04. He just started gabbing. And he was just so happy to talk. And he was so polite and just such a nice guy. And he wasn't like, most guys might be like kind of put off, like, hey, I'm here with my kid. I don't really want to talk right now, whatever. Yeah, or just say thank you and go away. He was just happy to talk.
Right. And someone in public's willing to talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this was like 7 or 8 years ago. This was before it was really bad for him. He fucked up with the Wakefield thing. I don't think he obviously didn't mean any malice by it, but he's not even allowed at Fenway Park now because of that.
It's honestly, it's dumb. I think the Red Sox missed an opportunity to bridge a gap there with Schilling.
Henry and Werner will never do that with him just because of the politics.
Yeah. Well, no doubt.
Yeah, that sucks.
So that's what it is. But it was it was as good the 35th time as it was the first time.
Oh, it's a great show. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's go get a championship tonight, huh?
I think the Celtics by 9 tonight. I honestly don't want to go to Game 7.
I don't want to go to Game 7. I don't feel great about tonight. I think.
Well, if they don't win tonight, it's going 7.
No, they can win on the road. They've actually been worse at home this year than they were on the road.
They have, but I don't think that the home and road has anything to do with it. Tonight's the night to get the Mavs while they're coming off a massive win. If they lose tonight, I think this series is going 7.
I hope not. I really hope not. So, all right, man. We'll see. Well, let's plan on going back to our normal time, not this week, but the week after.
Next Thursday.
Yeah, if we can.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, pal. See you later.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
You too.